Mandy, quelle surprise. I thought I'd never see you like this again.
Like what, Joker?
You with your inside, still on the inside. You know how hard it is to get stomach bile out of a sport coat? Oh, which reminds me, does this joint do dry cleaning, or...
Cut the shit, I've heard it all before. You meet one psychotic bottom-feeding thug in face paint, you've met them all.
And did you know the old me? We were never introduced. Suppose that's what my fashionable tardiness gets me.
Here, from the coroner's report. Go on, take a good look. He was a mass-murdering psychopath with a mug like spoiled meat. He poisoned Gotham City, then himself. Oh yeah, he got what was coming to him.
Good Lord. He was so... old! Blah!
That's your takeaway?
You do have sunscreen on this earth, right? Those crow's feet aren't giving me hope.
You don't play ball. We've got an entire wing at my new Arkham, specially made for pacifying clowns like you.
Sounds like it worked great on the last guy. Oh, I can't wait for this world to get a load of its new Joker. So many smiling faces to meet. And all thanks to you, Mandy.
Don't think you can scare me, clown. One button press and I do what Batman never could. Solve this Earth's Joker problem for good. That's a promise.
Ugh, I got chafed wrists like you wouldn't believe. You mind loosening the old friendship bracelets, big guy?
This is a mistake. I don't know what the director's thinking, bringing a goddamn Joker into this mess.
Say, what are we thinking for lunch? Sushi? You have that here? Richard, you're gonna love what I can do with chopsticks. Wink.
Can it, Chuckles? You know, half the troops in the hall knew someone murked by Joker. I bet they just love to get their mitts on you.
Ooh, don't threaten me with a good time, soldier boy.
Joker was terrorist scum. Worst of the worst. The world's better off with him in the dirt. And if you think I won't bury you with him...
I'm detecting some aggression here, Flatfoot. But if you're gonna kill me, you'd have done it already.
Squad's got bigger fish to fry. And if keeping you alive means keeping them alive, I can keep it in the holster. For now.
Colonel Flag! Is that affection for your squad I'm detecting? Oh, I knew there was a gooey center underneath all that bluster and body armor. Usually I have to work a little harder to get it, but... Mandy, dearest, welcome back. I just adore this whole musical interrogations bit. What a hoot.
Clock's ticking, Joker. Start shooting straight. What really happened to your last squad?
Like, emotionally? Hurt people, Mandy. Not like I need to tell you that.
Reports peg you as last clown standing. You see, that smells like a double cross to me.
More Semtex and charred entrails. You know how far a human head can fly with enough explosive force?
So you're sticking to the story that you murdered your team? Doing Brainiac's dirty work for him?
My dirty work is mine and mine alone. See, where I come from, we take ride or die pretty literally.
Well, you're on my world now, Joker. And I'm the one who decides when and how Task Force X lives or dies.
You really think you're something special, don't you? But I see right through you. You and your whole shtick. The hair, the fancy clothes, the swagger. Get this through your pointy little skull. I'm the guy that decides what goes up and where it comes down.
Duly noted, Mr. Up, Down, Back Around Guy, sir. I'll get that in my Rolodex right away. Quick question. What exactly makes you think I'm your problem child?
I've met you before. I've met 1,000 psychos like you. And every single one of them was a pain in my ass.
I see. Well, I look forward to changing your mind, Mr. Flag, sir. Oh, P.S., how is your ass doing these days?
Oh, you want to get up in my business, huh? I can get personal. What's the spill on you and the other clown, huh? She and the last Joker had Commish Gordon smoking 2 at a time.
The Shrink? Strictly co-workers, just like you and I. But hey, look at the bright side. You've got a wide open net, and I think I might be strong enough to love again. The stars are aligning. Do you feel it, Rick?
You're gonna be feeling something in a minute, you little... You're gonna have to work harder than that. You're below my rank. And I'm out of your league.
So, you kill your squad to save them from Brainiac. Then Brainiac turns around and remakes Earth in your image. I don't buy it. Make it make sense, Joker.
You still think I'm in cahoots with the big bulbous brain? Well, let's run it down. There was the kidnapping, creative torture techniques, scrambling my DNA like stir-fry. Oh, I guess he did share my love language.
Stop wasting my time.
Oh, relax. Old Brainy don't trust anyone he can't control like an ill-fitting finger puppet. Least of all, yours truly.
So then why turn an entire world into a monument for your bony pratfallen ass?
You think that tacky sideshow was my idea? Darling, I'm a psychopath, not an egomaniac. Where's the subtlety, the wit, the measured panache? When everything's a punchline, the joke just isn't funny anymore. Why the long face, Flagpole? Don't you look forward to our little tete-a-tetes? I've always had a soft spot for you, Ricky boy. Well, not you, but you get it. So, hit me! With questions?
Fine. So, you're amiable with Harley. Nothing more, nothing less. I'll buy it for now. You playing nice with Boomerang?
Oh, I just adore that wily little marsupial. Boomerangs. All these Black Ops playthings in the toy box, and he goes with boomerangs. Hilarious! Not a big fan of eye contact, though. Or showers.
And Shark? Stay away. He doesn't need your hooks in him.
Sharky, what a gas. I tell you, they don't make them like that back home. Would you believe fish don't wear jeans on my Earth? Wild, right?
So what about Deadshot, huh? Lawton's kind of the, ringmaster of your little circus.
Oh, old Floydy's like the soldier of fortune father I never had. Or maybe it's just that nostalgic smell of bullet casings and aftershave. Hard to say.
Yeah, you're one big happy family. All that matters to me is you keep each other alive out there. Just keep in mind, you might all be expendable assets to Argus, but none more than you.
Oh, if it isn't my second favorite Mandy! You simply can't stay away from me, can you? As much as I enjoy dancing around it, and believe me, I'm a wonderful dancer, should we address the interdimensional elephant in the room?
What's that, Joker? Why I don't toss your chalky ass back to the condemned carnival you crawled out of?
No. What happened to my first favorite Mandy? Aren't you the least bit curious? Oh, I tell you, if my wall could talk... Well, it'd be awful impressive, for starters. I swear I've got her voice box around here somewhere. Check my pockets?
Irrelevant. All I need to know about her is where she went wrong. And if I had my guess, it had something to do with recruiting a ticking time bomb like you.
Gasp! Character assassination! And believe me, I know a thing or two about assassination. But I'll drop a spoiler for you, new old friend. On my Earth, you didn't make it past this part. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, well, that's a punchline I haven't cracked yet.
Run of show. Brainiac invades, corrupts the League. We send a squad. Squad goes ass up. Brainiac gets Earth, and we get stuck with you. Am I missing anything?
Well, you're really glossing over the friendships we made along the way.
You were locked up on the Skull ship. You must have seen something we can use. Something to make your squad's sacrifice worth a damn.
It's not so much what I saw, but what I smelled.
Explain.
Flop sweat, chum. Perspiration prickling on a big, brainy melon. Any comic worth his salt has a nose for it, and I could just smell it. That intoxicating musk of fear.
So you think Brainiac's afraid? Of what?
Bombing, obviously. This whole invasion deal. It's like he's workshopping a gag, running it over and over again, constantly adjusting the routine, tweaking each beat until he gets it just right.
And it's not going according to plan this time.
Yep. See, Brainiac's a lot of things, mans, but take it from me, he's a pretty shitty improviser.
Man, it's gonna be hard to return to normal after all this. Assuming there's normal left to return to.
What's the matter, Floyd? Missing your large adult extra children already?
Won't get shot up as that easy, mate. You can't pick your crime family.
Y'all know what I'm getting at.
Course I do, Dadshot. Normal is a finite resource, Floydie. Sometimes you just can't go home again, metaphorically speaking.
No offense, Quinn, but I intend to go home. Need to, and I will. Metaphor and otherwise.
Oh, okay. Guess we're back to no fun shot again.
Hey, Quinn. Sorry about that home dig before. Wasn't cool of me.
I don't sweat it, Floyd. I got the thickest skin in this whole operation.
Highly doubtful.
Metaphor version, Sharky.
Ever wish you could go back? To your old life? Before the clown costumes and brain bombs?
That's hard to say. Most days I gotta squint real hard to even see Harleen in the rear view. The way I see it, what's the point of going home if you don't live there anymore? Most likely, you just freak out the new tenants.
We've been around each other way too long. That almost made complete sense. Hey, got a sec, Harley? The whole thing we were talking about earlier. I think we're both right.
You are really burning a lot of brain juice on this one, pal.
Look, I'm just saying things have changed for all of us. But we don't have to leave it all behind. I mean, if we don't want to.
Is this your way of asking if Harleen's taken on preferred clients?
Yeah, maybe. We get through this, we're all gonna need a good therapist.
Ha! And you'd let this questionably reformed clown inside your head? Okay, tell you what. I ever start verbally massaging sad Gothamite brains again, I'll put you at the top of the list.
Deal. So, you taking the A.R.G.U.S medical insurance, or?
Deadshot, I would like to ask about your child Zoe. But engaging in the requisite small talk is disrespectful to our found kinship.
You know what? Thanks for sparing the weather bullshit, Shark Man. Everyone's asked or commented. You were bound to eventually.
Yes, well, you were not always able to live as a full family unit. Even before the Green Lantern took you to Arkham.
Zoe... See now, Susan, it's complicated human shit, Shark. Really complicated human bullshit.
Ah, I see. Is it rude to ask for more information?
Oh boy, is it! I'll tell you about the birds, the bees, and the long mediated conversations later.
Deadshot, I have an anecdote that may help ease your guilt and anxieties about your perceived failings in fatherhood.
Worse than the PTA parents. At least he's direct about it. Yeah, Shark Man, hit me with it.
I was the runt of my litter. In an effort to prove my worth to my father, I headed to the surface without a plan. I was taken. I was very small. I assumed my father would send forces to fetch me from Bel Rev, chastise me, and likely exile me. No one ever came. I wondered why for many years, but I no longer require an answer. Books were very helpful in reconnecting with my inner child.
That's, heavy.
I am certain you would fetch your child, even if they are unusually small or foolish, or both.
Hey, Shark, can we talk about... I see some of myself in your father, and I'm not about that. He sounds...
Like an unyielding tyrant? Yes, he is. You share some qualities, but I feel they are largely his best ones.
See, it's that largely that bothers me. I mean, Susan and I work things out. I've gotten Zoe anything she's wanted.
Much like the supernatural powers of the deep, money cannot solve everything. But you are very aware of this. You are constantly trying to find ways to speak with Zoe.
Of course. Wouldn't any dad? Okay. I get you.
Take comfort in the fact that you are a far better communicator. Much less teeth and fury.
Maybe Susan was right. I'm not a good dad. I'm not the worst dad, I guess.
You have many redeeming features that do not involve killing, such as your dry wit and comedic timing. That is heartening.
Better than my dad.
I got a whole book draft on my daddy issues, Floyd. Looking for a solid publisher.
You are trying, and that has great worth.
Does if we survive.
Yes, we survive. Then you reconnect with your child, like in your extremely sentimental human movies.
Not quite like that, big man. You ever want closure with your old man, though? I got some kings in my resume. We could take them.
We could not best him as he is a god, but the sentiment is one I greatly appreciate.
Hi, Miss Lane. Come in, Pinwielder. This is Atinka speaking.
Hero, you were supposed to check in weeks ago. I've been worried about you.
Sorry, Miss Lane. I've just been so busy now that they're letting me help out here. But please, don't worry. Not even about the BOMB. My little buddy defused it weeks ago.
A bomb? Hero, we agreed you would drop off the Speed Force device, take one selfie with the big statues, then get out of Metropolis. This was not the plan.
But I'm okay. I'm making a lot of friends, I'm eating all my greens, and I promise I'm working really hard to save the city.
It's not up to you to save the city, Hero. You're just a kid. Look, just please check in again regularly, okay?
You got it, Miss Lane. Save the city and check in more often.
Miss Lois Lane, I received a request for intel on Colonel Rick Flag. I am prepared to talk on his misdeeds.
I appreciate it, Nanawe. So for most of us, Richard Flagg is still a relatively unknown figure. What are your defining experiences of him?
It began when I was a newly captive pup. Alone, afraid. Colonel Flagg was assigned to guard me. He noticed my shivering and let slip his cruel plan to torment me with only icy sustenance.
Access to adequate food is your human Do you get human rights? Maybe that was the loophole.
Yes. For an entire evening, Colonel Flagg forced me to eat nothing but ice cream. But he had unwittingly chosen my favorite flavor and toppings. He is an unlucky man.
Your ice cream? Right, and did Flagg's methods often accidentally include things you enjoy?
There was also the occasion where he had to emergency stop the Bel Rev transport van at the fun fair.
Shark, I'll be straight with you. I need info, and you seem like my most reliable source on the squad.
Ooh, you really know how to butter a girl up, don't you, Lois? Most reliable source in the Daily Planet's Whistleblower Awards. I'm touched, I really am. I gotta know, was I the first person you called or the last?
All I'm asking for is a little inside intel. Help me piece this thing together.
I do enjoy piecing things together. Body parts, puzzles, true crime podcasts, especially my crimes.
Ugh, do we have to do this, Harley? I know people underestimate you. I don't. You're smart, and you've gotta have an angle on what Waller has planned.
Nah, really. You don't gotta wheedle it out of me, sweetie. I'm just happy to pass the Bechdel test with someone.
Boomerang, thank you for agreeing to speak with me.
Miss Lane, real honor. Huge fan of your work. Photojournalism, less words.
Thank you?
Yeah. Love your war reporting especially. And you've covered all the greats like yours truly.
I did?
Well, you remember? Yeah, of course you remember. On my rivalry with Flash. Yeah, I had the clipping in my cell at Arkham.
That might have been one of my syndicated pieces. I remember it being more about Flash.
No, it was defo about me. I know I read it hundreds of times. No one's called me incorrigible before. So, if you want a source, I'm an open book.
You're who I've been most interested in speaking with, Hack.
Oh, is this some sort of human interest thing? Sympathy for the person stuck in the internet?
What? No. Look, I know Argus is blocking my broadcast signal. And people out there need to know what's happening. And Metropolis needs to know there's still a world out there.
You're using an outdated codec at high bit rates and attempting to stream to a service that was defunct before the alien invasion.
Okay, you try casting from a phone when the servers are gone, IT and production are probably in a floating skull, and your password manager is very insistent.
Oh, I am very aware. I angle some satellites a little to the left to make sure you hit the city's monitors. Gets me my favorite shows too.
Right, you're really helping me out. You are helping me. That would explain so much.
I weighed the pros and cons. Got more pros than cons. I took care of archival and posting too. Please, hire a digital archivist.
I've been telling Perry that for years. Oh, God, if things weren't so dire, this would probably be much funnier to me.
We Coloons have always striven for greatness. Yet when I reached out to seize that greatness, I was ostracized. My so-called peers dubbed my experiments on living test subjects unethical, reckless. Some even attempted to discredit me and my discoveries. It was then I realized only I truly understood greatness. Of course, my persecutors soon changed their tune when our planet was threatened, just as I predicted it would be. Suddenly, they looked to me for answers, and I was happy to provide them. I selected and archived the best Kolu had to offer and created a vessel to hold it. You, my ship. An ark to an eternal Kolu.
I thought I would welcome solitude, but Earth can feel so barren without Earthlings, without Superman, Waller, and the others, for them to fail. For us to fail. No. What use is a stirring, nagging, guilty conscience to fill the void now? Design a moral fallacy to obsess over? Delude myself into remorse? Bargain with my own mind until I truly believe that only the righteous can feel this kind of pain? And at last, the grand epiphany. The promise to be better. As I drop to my knees, close my eyes, and sob into the rubble I've made. As if my tears serve anyone but myself. That's what a lesser mind would do. But I am a Luthor. I can't resign myself to wasting away in a bunker. Not when Brainiac has confirmed dimensional theories I'd only tested. So instead of finding company in myself, I've committed to finding company in myself. Lex's Legion of Luthors. Our consolidated intellect will unabashedly echo through the Lutherverse. Of course, I've had my share of concerns. Perhaps the lesser Luthors will start to feel inferior. I can be challenging to work with. My shrewd nature and full-bodied charisma make me impossible to steamroll, which weak minds often find intimidating. And sometimes I work too hard. I suppose that's a risk we'll all have to take on together. On further thought and hydration, potential Luthors are better viewed as like having a portfolio of vacation homes. Perfectly appointed vacation homes, where I could just slip in and enjoy the fruits of another Luthor's labor on a living planet. So, contact could go two ways. A, this Luthor and I work together on his Earth, or B, I simply fill the absence left by another. Obviously, surviving an apocalypse more than proves I am the superior Luthor. Every version of me would agree with that, unless he's been intellectually compromised somehow. And we can't have someone like that representing the Lex Luthor brand in any dimension. Now can we? Listen very carefully. Yes, it's me. It's you. An alien invader has reduced my Earth to a barren wasteland, and I'm offering you the chance to spare your own world the same fate. Of course, I can't detail my plan to aid you in this broadcast. I'm sure I don't need to explain how dangerous it would be for the last hope of humanity to be intercepted by anyone but us. And I know what you must be thinking, Lex, so consider this. I hold your future in my hands. If my goal was to kill you and take your place, all I'd have to do is let it happen. I look forward to saving the world with you. Goodbye for now, and don't wait too long. Yes, of course a binary dimension signal worked. Of course it did. The long nights, the bitten fingernails, all worth it now. Last night I received the first trans-dimensional response. His Earth is unspoiled. He's never even heard of Brainiac. I hold all the cards. But this is you, Lex. He'll be suspicious. It's in his nature. I'll have to build confidence slowly, get inside his head, integrate myself into his decision-making. It'll be risky, negotiating with another Lex, but if anyone's up to the task, I am. I've just spoken with Alexander. God, how I've missed conversation. It's been too long since I've held discourse with a peer, although peer might be generous. Despite my previous concerns, his ego seems easy enough to manipulate. He's more naive than he presents, and his eagerness exposes him to compromise. He did divulge some useful information, though. Another Waller, another League, another Superman. I'm eager to see for myself. I'll have a future, a home, a staging ground. With each successful broadcast, I inch closer to our inevitable endgame. The time to abandon this planet draws near. I can't say I'm sad to see it go. So I won't. As the when still eludes me, I must turn my attention to the how of it all. Phasing data, even small objects between us, is a puzzle long solved. But my entire laboratory, myself. And the true quandary, How much of my faith can I safely bestow on dear Alexander? How far is he willing to trust his extra-dimensional benefactor? The man's obviously not stupid. He's me. That demands respect and caution in equal measure. Regardless, I must begin preparations if there's any hope for his world's survival. As per usual, I'll put my faith in the only Luthor I know I can trust. Myself. The cycle perpetuates. Brainiac's invasion of my Double's Earth has begun in earnest. And faster. Damnably fast. Brainiac has already dominated the League, and I assume Waller and her troop of misfit toys aren't far behind. Dear Alexander's persistent overconfidence is both admirable and alarming. He plans to stage a solo offensive against Brainiac's armada. Powered exosuits, military manufacture, bioweapons. How he diverged from my own mastery of the nanotechnology field. Well, who am I to talk him out of it? After all, I know how inflexible I can be once I've made up my mind. On one hand, Alexander's death inevitably complicates my crossing over. I'll need to procure new collaborators to ensure my safe passage. On the other, well, it's a rather convenient opening, isn't it?